I'm Mike Gordon, and welcome to Perfect Playthroughs, where our objective is to accomplish everything the game has to offer. Well, guys, Christmas is right around the corner, which means another 12 games of Christmas is on the horizon. Typically speaking, for this marathon, I prefer to cover hype games that I do not currently own, as that's what Christmas is generally all about, am I right? There's an item you don't have, but you really want to get it. So you ask your parents if they can get it for you, and write up a letter to Santa in case they can't. Having said all that, I did say that I would complete 30 games from my backlog by the end of the year. And well, if you count each of the 6 Pokemon games individually, then I am currently sitting at 26 games out of 30 games completed. 27 if you count Final Fantasy VII. And well, I don't want to keep you guys waiting any longer. We've got 4 more games to go. Let's get started with number 27. And yep, that's right. We are playing Shadow Dancer, which is a sequel to the original arcade Shinobi. Whereas Revenge of Shinobi was the sequel to the Master System Shinobi. Take that for what it's worth. Perfect playthrough conditions are simple. There are 4 bonus rounds in between the 5 stages. I have to clear all of them with 50 out of 50 perfects. AD 1997, New York City. Having vanquished the evil crime empire in EOZ, Shinobi was not heard from again. His combat ninja skills were not needed in a peaceful world. But a new threat arose in the reptilian form that lived on vicious instinct alone. The colossal monster moved slowly and quietly, and its attack was relentless. The souls unfortunate enough to live became hostages. Mass panic swept the streets. It remained only for Shinobi to take action, the ninja of the shadows. His weapons were stealth and quickness of attack, his only allies when faced the overwhelming force. Relying on ninja weapons and magic, Shinobi fought on, assisted by his faithful dog. This is the story of their defiance. Alright, we are just going to play the game straight up. And as I said, there are 5 levels we have to clear all of them in order to beat the game. And even though we have to rescue all the hostages, that is a mandatory component in order to clear a stage anyways. Plus, we get extra bonuses too. If our dog gets hit, we can grow him back up to full. We can gain extra lives. We can even gain new power-ups, or we just gain points. Or we can power up our Shuriken even. But the only condition to achieve a perfect playthrough in this game, that is beyond just doing the is necessary to beat the game. Again, there are 4 bonus. For those of you who actually watched Day 30 of Summer of Sega, you actually have to clear. You actually have to clear all 4 bonus rounds. There are 50 enemies to kill in those bonus rounds. We have to kill all 50 of them in order to achieve perfect bonuses. All that really does is give you 3 extra lives, but I have no intent of dying in this perfect playthrough. Alright, it all worked out. And that was an extra life. Some of those will even give us 2 or even 3 extra lives. We do have to be careful though, because some of these some of the debris will actually kill you upon impact. Shinobi can only take 1 hit or else he dies. Though sometimes if the attack is inoffensive, the attack will literally just cause a bounce back and recoil. But it's one hit and you're dead. Luckily, all the bosses take 6 hits to kill, so that's easy to keep track. And these are the bonus rounds I spoke of previously. There are 4 of these, and we need to kill all 50 enemies in each of these 4 stages in order to achieve true perfection in this game. You could also make the instead of just killing every enemy and unlock every secret bonus and power up as well, but I'm not gonna get that pedantic. It seems rather arbitrary whether or not you trigger some of these or not. Or whether or not certain enemies will even spawn in or not. So I'm just going to go for the perfect bonus rounds. Alright, we cleared level 1 with literally no difficulty whatsoever. And there we go, we are quickly doing. And yes, this is very much a faithful continuation of the spirit of the OG Shinobi. On the arcades. Another game I would have covered during Summer of Sega had I had an Xbox 360 controller to play on, and had my cables been compatible with my so let me clear these guys out quickly. Alright, it's all good. There we go. So yeah, because just like in the OG Shinobi, you have to rescue hostages. There are bonus rounds that you play in order to accumulate extra lives and whatnot between levels, and I think there's even a similar number of whereas Revenge of Shinobi was clearly made for the Genesis specifically. Actually, Shadow Dancer is literally an adaptation of the arcade version of Shadow Dancer. So that's kind of interesting. We take them all out. And now we face the stage 2 boss. This is one of the few that you can actually hit twice per round, so to speak. Twice per spawn-in, actually, is what I would say. And in all these cases, it's always at the very beginning and at the very end of a round of at the very beginning and at the very end of a spawn-in. So we need to claim yet another perfect bonus for this bonus round. Perfect. Absolutely beautiful. Alright, I think we're done. Yep, we are done. Okay. Statue of Liberties, the 3rd level. And now we are going, and I need to plan out my movements here. I gotta be honest, this actually took me several tries to clear out, and is definitely where the game gets so much harder compared to what it was before. Yeah, it was hard before, but it was still manageable. Now you have to be prepared to get swarmed on all sides like that. You have to be prepared for whatever happens to be off screen. Oh yeah, we have to deal with this madness. But at least we collect all the hostages. And we're ready to take on this lift because the Statue of Liberty is under construction yet again. I've actually seen something like this happen once in a movie called Remo Williams. Obviously, I've never been to the Statue of Liberty in person, though I did see it from a distance, like a very, very long distance. Oh, we were just driving around New York City. Mom pulled us out of school to drive us around New York City. That's literally all that happened. We stopped at Jersey to get some Wendy's. That's literally the only stop we made throughout that entire trip. So, in the movie Remo Williams, the setup is that the Statue of Liberty is under construction and Remo was being attacked by assassins all across the Statue of Liberty. But here it's just the premise for a level. You know, we are fighting this guy on the top scaffold of the Statue of Liberty. And it's kind of interesting that Shadow Dancer, the storyline for the English release of Shadow Dancer, implies that we're battling a bunch of monsters. But other than maybe a couple bosses, this isn't really shown in the enemies we face. It seems like almost all the enemies are humans, or at least humanoids, not monsters. So I'm guessing this was a localization effort at translating the story of this game. So basically you have to figure out, okay, which area is going to be the most con spawn point that I can realistically hit all these enemies at. And it looks like we did. We got them all. Just one more bonus round where I have to do something like this, and then we are home free. So, level 4. Now that we freed up New York City from these monster attacks, we now have to go through an underground cave in order to infiltrate the lizard's hideout. I think this is really just another crime syndicate, rather than lizard people attacking us. And they just simply be called... But that's not clear. And, yeah. Finally, we are back in business. So, if you charge your dog up into an enemy that will definitely be able to fight back, like any number of these samurai or those bulldozers, your dog will shrink down to a puppy size where it becomes effectively useless. And these dark spots make this section really, really brutal. Especially since now we have a bunch of enemies attacking us from the shadows, and we can't see anything. Thank you, doggy. And yeah, the difficulty spike is really increasing. And all because I did not see the samurai, the ninja till it was too late. But don't worry, he will grow right back eventually. And the reason why he didn't shrink back down was because I sicked the dog at an enemy that could not be sicked at, but he was in a defensive state. So, this boss is damn near impossible to hit twice in a cycle, so I can only suffer once, maybe twice if I'm lucky. This was one of the rare exceptions where I could hit the boss twice. And yeah. You have to be really quick too, because if you don't hit the boss quickly enough, he'll become completely immune to damage and will actually attack you. So yeah, this is where we want to be in order to kill all the ninjas. And now I'm using a turbo controller for this part, so there you go. I think we're done. Yes, we're done. I do think Shadow Dancer is probably one of the 3 coolest looking Genesis games from 1991. The other being Sonic the Hedgehog, obviously, and what else came out that year? I guess Streets of Rage. Alright. So, unlike the previous stages, none of these sections are timed in the final level. And instead of acts, you basically have rooms to traverse. Each room having 1 to 2 hostages to save. And a bunch of enemies of a certain type. Alright, we got him. Room number 3. Probably the easiest of the rooms. As all you have to worry about are those little slime things that like to crawl on the ground and then jump. And I got an extra life. I think this will be our last extra life. Number 4 is literally where it becomes hell on earth. Sure, it seems easy at first, but these ninjas like to spawn and swarm and surround you. Alright. Alright, we got him. Good. And we're heading to room 5, so screw those guys. Fortunately, these black ninjas take 3 hits to kill. And we're not powered up at all. And over time there are so many of them, and you try to make room so you can better deal with them, more will just spawn in. And there's 5 of them. Now, why don't I use magic? Well, A is magic, B uses attacks, and C jumps. So that's clearly the standard for Genesis games, for C to jump, B to attack, and A to either jump as well, or to use a special ability of some kind. Alright, we are done. This is the final room, the boss room. At long last, the final boss room. Honestly, this is a pretty badass game and probably would have been suitable for 12 Games of Christmas a year or so ago, but I kept passing up on it. I don't know, I think when you really look back at 1990 to 1991, the number of hype games is kind of slim from the time period. It's kind of slim pickings. And I already covered the vast majority of the hype games from that time period. It's also the reason why I haven't really revisited any games from that time period for perfect playthroughs. Until now. Summer of Sega definitely gave me some ideas on how to cover some of these games in the future. Alright, we just need one more cycle. This is a fairly easy boss to hit twice in a 2 cycle, especially when you have turbo controls. But yeah, it's these enemies in particular that are the problem, not the boss himself. Boom, he's done. Alright, yeah, I actually do really enjoy Shadow Dancer. The reason why I rated it B tier was due to just what a terrible time I had streaming this game was really what sunk this game. Not really due to the fact that I didn't think the game was that great. So I rated it at or near the top of B tier previously. This is probably an A tier title. Really, there are no bad Shinobi games on the Genesis. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if the Master System Game Gear titles, this trend carries over as well, of every Shinobi game being pretty good, if not great. So, yeah. I kind of wish there was a proper epilogue. But whatever, I've beaten the game. Staring at the Statue of Liberty with our little white dog in hand is a pretty badass conclusion enough, all things considered. World Trade Center, circa 1991. May they all rest in peace. I also got to see the Twin Towers before they went down. Yeah, this is kind of an awkward ending. So, and special thanks to all players. Alright, that sounds nice. So, this is the perfect time to wrap up this episode of Perfect Playthroughs. Leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. I greatly appreciate it, and we've got 3 more games to cover before we begin 12 games of Christmas. With all out of the way, this is Mike Gordon signing out.